Hi guys, I'm Peter Mosei Lemeria, a hotelier by profession, a husband of one beautiful lady.
My name is Jacqueline Modani Washira Wamusei. I am a journalist by profession, practicing public relations, and I'm a wife to this amazing gentleman seated next to me here.
So we've been married for the last 2 years. That's what we had our wedding in 2017, September 2nd.
Yeah.
So the first time I saw this beautiful lady was in 2011. This was in the CBD. I was waiting for a friend of mine, not a colleague, a friend of mine, we were supposed to meet with her for lunch. So as I was downstairs calling her, kumbe she sent a lady to come tell me where I should go meet her. So I didn't know this lady. So a lady with a very colorful dress came. You know, mwanaume ni mwanaume. So I had to check her out. Checking her out, kumbe she's coming towards me. The next thing she was like, are you Peter? I was like, hey, kwani Mungu amekutumu? So the next thing she was like, Faith has sent me to you. She's upstairs, that floor. Yeah, and that's how we met her for the first time. And how we exchanged numbers, I do not know, because we never exchanged numbers.
Speak the truth.
So I will let her say that part.
Yeah, so me, I'll be very nitty-gritty. Yeah? I met Peter 2011, July 19th. And just like he mentioned, he was meeting a mutual friend. So this mutual friend kept insisting, because we were in the same class with Faith. I was doing journalism. So each and every time she kept insisting, I have this friend of mine, you need to meet this person. So it was on a Tuesday, wimpy, yeah, those wacky things, yeah. So we were going to see my cousin along Kimathi Street, and Faith had lost her phone or something. So Peter was downstairs and my phone was what was being used to communicate. So at some point when he arrived, she really insisted, you go bring him upstairs so that you can also get to interact. So me, I walked downstairs. As I was going down, I was very eager because I was wondering, how does this gentleman look like? All I knew is that he was brown skin. And when I saw Peter, despite the fact that I knew I had been sent to tell him to go see my friend, something struck me about Peter. He was in a purple pullover and some blue jeans and white moccasins, zile chomoka. So I was like, first and foremost, which guy in Nairobi is wearing white shoes? Like literally. And then he looks well composed. I was like, have I come to disrupt this guy's life? So I said hi, and he went upstairs. So I was very, very determined to get to know Peter, not just as a friend, but I don't know, something about him attracted me. And I was very disturbed for a very long period of time. So I kept insisting to Chebet, Faith, I think I wanted to know this guy at a depth, yeah? And the most ironic part is when I met Peter, I went and broke up with my boyfriend then. So I was sure this is what I wanted. So it's been an amazing journey for 2 years. We have gone through so much together. We have grown and learned. And over and above the 2 years that we have been together, the 8 years of knowing Peter have turned me from a tomboy to a girl. Because I was this person who was always on sneakers, jeans.
Now the qualities that drove me to this lady, for me to say, I knew I need more than friendship. Because as she started calling me, so we had conversations from 10 p.m. to early hours of 3 a.m. in the morning. And you know what guys who are dating talk about? Funny, love thing. But what she was asking me is, where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? What if we got married and open a business. So I was like, this is a unique lady. Because all the ladies I used to date, they used to tell me about movies and stuff, the new Transformer movie. So she made sense, and she was mature. For her age, I didn't expect.
I was 19.
Yeah, for your age, I didn't expect you to think about a job, a career, a company. So she motivated me, she encouraged me very much. She actually pushed me even to apply for jobs. And the journey that we've been with her, to apply in jobs, to grow in our careers, going back to school was actually her idea. And she's just a million in one.
From my perspective, Peter walked into my life when there's a period of time my mom was not feeling quite well. And the saying that says that there are some friends who stick closer than a brother, that's when Peter actually proved to be an actual friend. Because I tend to look like I have everything, under control. So I'm this strong person to people. But Peter saw beyond that wall. And he was this person who would even go and see my mom in hospital, even when I was school.
Yes.
Yeah, and call me and tell me, I'm just from seeing your mom, and giving me the assurance that my mom is doing well. Yeah, and that is one thing that really captured me, because I was wondering to what great lengths will someone leave their job, because he was running a restaurant by then, his own restaurant, and he will ensure that he keeps me up to date. And I remember that was the time when I was doing my final paper. Yeah. There's at one point that, like any other couple when you're dating, you tend to see, I think after 2 years, it was 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, I think we had gotten too familiar with each other to the extent that, we thought that we're not actually progressing. So we took a break. I wouldn't call it like a breakup, but we actually took some time off to think, and I went to my sister's place. And this was the time I think we both had our, that call of, what are we actually doing here? I was 19, Peter was way older than me. So at least he had figured out a few things. He was already working. Here I was starting out my career. And I remember one of the things that my sister told me then was, if someone is actually the person for you, you need to learn how to, go through the steps together. And both of you need to understand what it is that you're doing. So I think in less than 3 weeks, I'm the one who contacted Peter, and I told him, is there a possibility we can hook up for us to, try and see where we went wrong and what we need to do that is right. And he was open for the idea, and from there it's when things started picking up, and there was a direction towards it.
For me, I would say the journey has been, it has not been a walk in the park, because I remember, as she said, when we took a break, we asked ourselves, where is this heading to? What are you doing for me? What am I doing for you? So it's like we took time out and to go think, to go recap, where is this going to go? When we were hooking up the first few days, we talked about so many things. Are you going to do them?
Yeah.
Or was it just words we were speaking over the phone call, or what was it about? So when we broke up for those few days, I think it was like a nightmare, because I kept thinking about this lady. I was like, and then I need to wake up. I need to do something about myself. I need to do something about her. So we looked at the circle of friends that we have now, what they do for us, where we are heading to, and if they have impact on our lives. So that was one of the things that was really affecting us, because we had to split with some of our friends for us to be where we are. It was not easy, but it was worth it at the same time. So I'll say the journey has been.
It's been awesome.
It has been awesome. Yeah. The proposal. Drum rolls.
Babe, talk the truth how you played me.
So, it was February 13th, 2016. I woke up one morning, gave her a call, and I was like, "Hi, how did you wake up today?" And she was like, me, I'm just tired. Today I'm not going to work, etc. So I also told her I'm also not going to work for the next 2-3 days. I'm at home. So, how crazy we are. And I was like, this lady, I have to do this now. So I rang somebody in Mombasa and I was like, hi, I saw your rings somewhere, gold rings. So he gave me the price range and I was like, I don't know how many bundles to download all those rings and to actually see the right one without her measurements. I didn't know her measurements. So it was a risk at the same time. Huh? So the only way I could get that ring was in Mombasa. And how could I get to Mombasa? Of course with her. And propose at the same time. Now, actually the funny thing is that her colleague actually hooked me up with that guy in Mombasa.
Imagine.
Yes, and she didn't have a clue about it. So I woke up, went to book a bus ticket, actually 2 bus tickets, and I told her, you know what, let's do this, let's go to Mombasa, we'll come back tomorrow. Let's just go have a swim in the ocean, let's just take a road trip. She didn't know what I was planning. So all the way to Mombasa, when we were in that bus, I was just texting. I was like, "Where is the ring? I want this size." So she slept. Then he asked me, how is her finger? I actually had to send her fingers to that guy to like, what do you think? Is that size 6, size 8, size what is it?
Peter.
So the girl's like, I think she has thin fingers, so this is the size. He sent me a ring and I was like, yes. So we got to Mombasa, we had lunch, we had breakfast, we had lunch, we went to For Jesus, the beach, we went to the market, bought a few things, took to her parents. But now here came the crazy part. How will I propose to her? So immediately the rings were delivered to our hotel. I had no choice but to ask the same guys who delivered the rings. Since you guys are locals here, where is the best place I can have dinner? And they recommended Cafe Africa. I was close by. It was a very nice joint. So I went there. We went there. So when we got in, I went to the barista and told her what my intentions were. And I was like, hey, so you guy, you see my lady over there? Yeah, so I need to propose to her today. And in the next 30 minutes, I need to be out of Mombasa. So he was like, I got you. So I gave him the ring. And I was like, boss, sawa. Should I put in a drink? Should I put it in a cake? That's too obvious. So I was like, pulled out my socks. Let me do this. We ordered. Then we had a talk for a few minutes. Then I just looked at her and I was like having like a million thoughts. But it was like it's like I had insects in my head running around. So when I woke up, she was like, "Nini mbaya?" So I went on my knees and popped the question. So the lady there, I was like, "What do? Oh my god!" She started crying. I was like, "Hapa napata yes or no?" It's either yes or no. So when I popped the question, I was actually uttering some words to her, and I was actually telling her about the past years that we've been dating, what I've been feeling, what has been going through my mind, where I intend to take her. So she looked at me and she paused, teardrops. And actually we were surrounded by cameras. So that was the annoying part. Because I'm trying to pop a question here, but people are just taking pictures. So she looks at me and she looked at everyone, she was like, of course yes. Hey my friend, the heartbeat that I had, I don't know how I didn't get a stroke. But that's how it went now. So the wedding was, it was a day I think I would repeat
Over and over.
over and over and over, because that's actually the best day of my life. Because I remember when I woke up, I don't think I even slept, because when I woke up, the first thing I checked was my phone, and I was like, should I call her and ask her, we're doing this today? So immediately I woke up, I just texted her and I told her, this is the day, may God bless this day, it will be a success in Jesus' name. So after that, we went to church, and the highlight of my day was when she came in. It's like an angel walking in with her parents. And I don't know where tears came from, because all of a sudden they became like a waterfall. I was crying like a big baby, but it was worth it, because I had recap of memories from where we have come from, what we have gone through, and that was my highlight of the day. It was a small event, family and friends, with lots of fun, lots of dancing. And yeah, we should repeat that wedding next year.
True.
Yeah.
For me, my first highlight for the day was we had a very candid conversation with my dad. And the blessings of a parent are very important. And the fact that he was, God had kept him for that particular moment, that was everything. Because I always dreamt and always wished that I could have my parents, witness this particular moment in my life and also see me as I transit. So that moment of having a fatherly and daughter advice really, really mattered. And we also prayed together with my siblings, yeah. We had that moment whereby as we were doing the shoot, they came and we prayed together. And that was the first beginning of a sign of the day that this is going to be a great day. The second most important part for me for the day was, when I said I do. Because I remember when the pastor asked whether there was anyone who had a reason. I remember I stared at the crowd with so much confidence, because I knew there was no person who would, stand up and say, Peter. So I was assured that this is for life. And that was the most amazing part of the day. It was the highlight of the day. I said I do to someone who I would want to grow old with. Number 3, and this is what I had been waiting for, was our reception. We danced. And if you ask my friends, one of the things that I kept telling them every other time was, the one thing that I'm sure about our wedding is that we will dance. Every other shenanigans can wait, but we will dance. So our MC was a perfect choice. It was an amazing person who they in synced very well with the DJ. And also, it's important to say that that day was also a success, because apart from having family, if I was to choose my bridal team, I would choose them again. It was made up of people who have held us through thick and thin. And some of these people are friendships that have outlived us, because they are friendships from childhood, 20-something years of friendship. So that was the core aspect of it, and we really
make marriage, you shouldn't make work a priority that much, because you might find out that somebody is working in Nakuru, then the other is working in Nairobi. So in such incidences, a marriage cannot last. So what we did, we asked ourselves, what is going to be the priority in this marriage? Myself, God, and family. Then work will follow, because we want to go for long. And she actually had a plan to retire at 30 years.
It's still there.
And it's still there. And it's still there. So the reason for such decisions is because we need time for each other, and that's why we've taken those 2 years to be friends more, and to have this bond even grow more and become stronger. And putting God first, every day waking up, first thing to do is pray for ourselves, pray for our future, and also for our families. And because without God, this cannot succeed. And also without being there for each other, listening to what other people say about your spouse is not per se something to also consider much about. Because people will poison your mind about your spouse. Your spouse is this, your spouse is that. You got married, the two of you. The rest were not there. So to me, I have checked around my circle, friends, and also prioritized my main circle. And actually, this has been fun. And to be honest, if you had kids, I don't think it would have been this fun. So that's why we had the breaks first. Yes. And yeah.
So for me, for the 2 years, there's something Peter has mentioned there, and it goes back to friends. The wake-up call comes once you say I do, and people go home and you're left the two of you. That's when it hits that family will not be here with me. It's us, the both of us, yeah? So one of the challenges that I can honestly say is it's been that factor of you have to sieve out friends as you grow, and because as you go by, you realize not everyone stands for what you stand for, and it's very easy for them to poison your mind, yeah? And there's one time a lady called Joy Krober's wife, yeah, she told me the woman you're becoming is going to cost you spaces, places, and people. If you told me that 4 years ago, it didn't make sense. If you tell me that right now, it's making a lot of sense, because you also have to guard your mind, what gets into your mind, and who you're surrounding yourself with. And it's been one of those things that we always actually have a discussion about. Peter and I are very intentional about friendships, because it goes back to our relationship is based on friendship. So we have to make sure that even those who surround us, they're very intentional about what it is that we're doing together. So that has been one of the challenges that as a young couple, and I believe anyone who has been through this stage, as you're trying to create your own concept of marriage and how things work, you have to understand what works for me and what does not work for me. Secondly is creating balance. I plan to retire at 30. I'm not so old. So by 30, by the grace of God, I should be focusing on taking care of our family. He's comfortable with himself working. So you have to know what are the priorities, where you want to go and what you need to achieve. So this is the time where we are achieving what you want to achieve and push each other to be, better people. Yeah. Yes. My promise, or rather my vow, and it always remains and always will be, that I will love you through thick and thin. Not thick and thin whereby beyond not the normal things that couples are supposed to do, but I will love you through the highs and the lows. And if I've never told you this before, I don't regret choosing you to be my life partner. It's one of the decisions that I've loved for the longest time, no matter what we go through. And whether money is there, money is not there, Peter, it really doesn't matter. And I love you more than words I can actually describe. So you're amazing.
And your partner samanga, oh. to me, this has been, and it still will be, the best thing that has ever happened to me. I believe you know me inside out. I believe you know how I feel about you. How I feel about you is beyond words. I want us to put God first, and for you to know that marriage to me is a commitment that I will never take easy, and I'll always have your back. I always love you. Hey, Mazi, boys for life. Finally blush.
Kini ni boys. Sio nakuanga boys wangu.
Mazi.
Gangster together.
Yeah.
Yeah.